All right, so we're getting ready for an interview for an Aquaculture Husbandry Manager position. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
And we're diving deep today using some awesome resources that we got from RoleCatcher,
Awesome.
career guides, sample interview questions, all that good stuff. And we even get to look at how their AI can help give you a leg up in this whole process. So
Right.
our goal is to help you crush this interview.
I like that.
So let's just jump right in.
All right.
These aquaculture husbandry managers, they're kind of like conductors in a way.
Yeah.
They have to kind of manage this whole aquatic orchestra, make sure everything's in harmony.
Absolutely.
From water to the fish to the whole environment.
Yeah. I think what's fascinating here is that they really do blend a lot of science and hands-on skills together
Yeah.
to create this thriving, productive environment.
Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit.
Okay.
We know this role involves feeding, managing growth stock levels. Like, what does this actually look like on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah. So you're out on the water. The sun is hitting the tanks.
Okay.
You're checking the water quality.
Okay.
Maybe you're adjusting the feed formulas based on the latest growth data for the fish.
Right.
But you're also leading a team,
Okay.
making sure that everyone is working safely and efficiently.
Right.
So it really is this blend of science and hands-on skill with a touch of leadership.
And speaking of leadership, let's get into these interview questions
Right.
that we got from RoleCatcher.
Yeah.
These are all about showcasing, you in that leadership role.
Okay.
So let's dive into some of the trickier ones.
All right.
One of the first ones that kind of caught my eye was the question about your experience with fish health management.
Yes.
How do you approach that?
Yeah,
Because it feels like it's more than just a yes or no.
exactly.
Yeah.
You're spot on with that.
Yeah.
It's more about demonstrating your expertise in this area.
Yeah.
So instead of just saying yes or no, I have or haven't,
Yeah.
you really want to quantify what you've done. So for example, you could say something along the lines of, in my previous role, I implemented a preventative health program that reduced disease by 15%.
Now that's a statement.
Yeah.
It's so specific and it shows the impact that you've made.
Yeah, and highlights that you're proactive, right?
Absolutely.
You're not just waiting for things to happen.
So what if they follow up and say, okay, well, what are the most common fish diseases in this region?
Right?
And how would you approach treatment?
Absolutely. That's where you really have to do your homework.
Yeah.
Because you have to show that you understand the regional challenges.
Right.
For example, if you were in the Pacific Northwest,
Okay.
sea lice are a major concern up there.
Oh, wow.
So you would want to be ready to discuss your approach to integrated pest management,
That makes sense.
really showcasing your knowledge of those regional challenges.
Okay, so we've tackled fish health.
Yeah.
The next one that's really interesting is the question about ensuring the health and safety
Yes.
of both the fish and the staff.
Right.
So this feels like a balancing act.
It's really demonstrating a holistic approach to management.
Okay.
So you want to talk about things like biosecurity protocols.
Okay.
Imagine a fortress around your fish farm
Okay.
that prevents the introduction and spread of diseases.
Right.
You could talk about staff training on safe handling techniques,
Okay.
regular equipment checks.
Yeah.
It's about creating a culture of safety where everyone from the fish to the team thrives.
That biosecurity thing stood out to me.
Right.
What does that actually look like?
Yeah, so biosecurity, it's a whole system
Okay.
that's designed to minimize the risk of those diseases spreading.
Okay.
So think foot baths, designated clothing,
Oh.
controlling the flow of people and equipment in and out of the facility.
So it's minimizing those potential points of contamination.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
What if they follow up with something like,
Right.
describe a time you had to address a safety concern at a previous workplace?
Right. And this is where you want to show, not just tell.
Yeah.
So you want to have a really concise and compelling anecdote ready.
Right.
Maybe you noticed a potential hazard and you took steps to mitigate it.
Yeah.
Maybe you led a safety training session.
Right.
The key is to demonstrate that you're proactive about safety.
Okay, so far we've covered fish, health, and overall safety.
Yes.
The next one is, how would you manage staff in an aquaculture facility?
Right.
Which feels like we're back to this leadership skill.
Exactly. This is where you get to showcase your leadership experience.
Okay.
You could start by saying something along the lines of, I believe in clear and consistent communication,
Okay.
delegating effectively,
Yeah.
providing regular feedback.
Right.
But then you want to back that up with an example.
Right.
So you could say something like, when we faced a challenging situation with a disease outbreak, I motivated my team by, and then explain what you did.
Okay.
And we were able to achieve this positive outcome.
So clear communication, effective delegation,
Yes.
regular feedback, plus a real-world example.
Yes.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, now before we jump into the next set of questions,
Yeah.
I'm curious how RoleCatcher can help tailor these answers
Right.
for different roles.
So RoleCatcher's AI is like having a personalized interview coach in your pocket.
Okay.
It can analyze job descriptions, identify key skills, and even provide suggestions on how to tweak your answers
Oh, wow.
to resonate with specific employers.
So it's not just generic advice. It's like specifically for that job that you're after.
Exactly. Think of it like you're fine-tuning your message
Okay.
to really hit the bullseye.
That's incredible. I can definitely see how that would give people an edge.
For sure.
But let's not forget about the career path itself.
Right.
Like, what are some insights from the RoleCatcher Career Guide
Absolutely.
that can help us prepare for this interview?
So the career guide provides a fantastic overview of the typical career stages for an aquaculture husbandry manager.
Okay.
And it really starts with entry-level positions,
Okay.
like an aquaculture technician. And in those roles, you're really gaining hands-on experience.
Okay.
You're learning the ropes.
Right.
You're developing a foundation in all of the techniques.
So it's that hands-on, like really building those essential skills.
Exactly. You're working directly with the fish,
Yeah.
monitoring that water quality, assisting with all of those daily operations.
Perfect. And then as you progress,
Yes,
you start to see a shift towards leadership
absolutely.
and that strategic thinking
Yes.
culminating in those senior roles,
Right.
like the aquaculture manager position.
Yeah, and I think understanding that path
Yeah.
can really inform how you present yourself in an interview.
It shows that you have a vision
Exactly.
for your future in this field.
You've got it.
Okay, so are you ready to tackle some of these next interview questions?
Oh, I'm ready.
I think they get a little more technical,
Let's do it.
but I'm excited to dive in.
All right. Let's go.
Okay, so question number 4. How do you ensure that aquaculture operations are compliant with environmental regulations?
Ooh.
This one is all about showcasing that you're committed to responsible and sustainable practices.
It's not just about raising fish. It's about doing it the right way.
You want to start by highlighting any experience you have
Okay.
with obtaining permits or licenses for these operations.
So it's kind of like showing that you can play by the rules.
Exactly. It's showing that you understand the regulatory landscape.
Yeah. Okay. But how do you actually go beyond just knowing the rules and show that you implement them?
That's where you get into the details. You talk about monitoring and reporting systems that you've implemented.
Okay.
You could even mention experience conducting environmental impact assessments.
Okay.
It's all about demonstrating that proactive approach to compliance.
It sounds like staying up to date on the latest environmental regulations is key.
Absolutely.
Would mentioning specific publications or organizations that you follow
Yes.
be a good strategy? That's a great strategy. It shows that you're committed to continuous learning.
Yeah.
You're staying ahead of the game.
Okay, on to question 5. How do you manage the feed supply for aquaculture operations?
Yeah, this is a logistical puzzle.
This sounds like it.
Feed management is crucial. You need to ensure a steady supply of high-quality feed.
Yeah.
You want to optimize the growth of the fish, but minimize waste.
So it's about striking that balance, making sure they're fed but not overfeeding.
Exactly. And think about the whole process.
Okay.
From sourcing and storage to monitoring how much they're eating and adjusting the feeding schedule.
Okay, so how could someone actually, show their expertise in answering this question?
Well, you could talk about strategies, for example, to reduce the cost of the feed.
Okay.
Maybe by exploring alternative feed ingredients
Yeah.
or optimizing those feeding times you mentioned.
Right.
You could even mention experience with different types of feed
Okay.
and your knowledge of what each species requires nutritionally.
Okay, so it's about showing that deeper understanding of all the things that go into it.
Exactly.
All right, question 6. How do you manage water quality in aquaculture operations?
Right.
Seems straightforward, but I'm sure it's a lot more than just,
Yeah.
keeping the water clean.
Exactly. Water quality, it's like the lifeblood of the whole system.
Okay.
So you want to describe your experience with monitoring those key parameters.
Okay.
Temperature, pH, dissolved oxygen, ammonia levels.
right.
But don't just list them.
Right.
Explain how you've actually adjusted these parameters when they've fallen out of that ideal range.
Right. So it's not just knowing what to measure, it's knowing how to fix it
You've got
when it's
one.
off.
You could even talk about preventative measures.
Okay.
Regular cleaning of those tanks and filtration systems.
Okay.
Even proactive strategies like preventing algal blooms.
That makes sense.
It's showcasing that you're proactive about water quality.
Okay, now this one's really interesting, question 7. How do you manage fish breeding and reproduction in aquaculture operations? I don't know a lot about this.
This one's all about showing that you understand their reproductive cycles,
Okay.
different breeding techniques, and how to manage the growth and development of the fry.
Fry.
Yes, the baby fish.
See, I'm learning something new every time.
You could talk about selecting breeding stock.
Okay.
Maybe you use certain criteria to choose the healthiest individuals.
Right?
Then you talk about monitoring reproductive performance
Okay.
and managing the growth of those baby fish.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Question 8 brings us to the money. How do you ensure that aquaculture operations are profitable?
Right.
We've moved from the science to the business side of things.
Exactly. Aquaculture is a business, so profitability is essential.
It's not just a, fun hobby.
Exactly. So you want to highlight your experience developing and managing budgets.
Okay.
Talk about strategies you've used to optimize things,
Okay.
improve efficiency, reduce costs.
So would things like marketing and sales fall into this?
Absolutely. If you have any experience in those areas, bring it up. It shows a really well-rounded understanding of the business.
Last question. How do you stay up to date with the latest trends and developments in aquaculture?
I like this one.
This one seems a little easier than the rest.
Yeah, but it's not about just rattling off a list of journals.
Right.
It's about showing your passion,
Okay.
showing that you're engaged with this community.
Okay.
So do you go to conferences? Are you a member of any organizations?
Yeah.
Do you follow any researchers or institutions?
Okay.
Paint a picture of someone who's really invested in the future of aquaculture.
I'm seeing a pattern here.
Yeah,
It's not just about what you know, but it's about your enthusiasm
absolutely.
and that you are constantly seeking to learn and grow.
That's what they want to see.
Okay, now before we wrap up, I want to go back to RoleCatcher's AI.
Yes.
How can their tools help with answering these more technical questions?
Right. Well, RoleCatcher's AI can actually analyze industry trends
Okay.
and identify emerging challenges. So this can help you tailor your answers to address those really cutting-edge issues.
So it's not just like yesterday's news, it's like what's happening right now.
Exactly. And as you move into those more senior roles,
Yeah.
the AI can even help you showcase your leadership style and your strategic thinking
Oh, wow.
by analyzing what successful aquaculture managers are doing.
So it's like you have this mentor
Exactly.
who is constantly plugged in
Yeah,
to what's happening in the industry.
that's exactly what it is.
And they're giving you these insider tips.
That's so valuable,
That's incredible.
especially when you're competing with other people
Yeah, absolutely.
and you want to stand out.
And then you mentioned the interview practice.
Yes.
That's huge.
Being able to record yourself and get that AI feedback on your delivery.
That's got to be such a confidence booster.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, so RoleCatcher can help refine your application, practice your answers,
Yes.
get feedback. It's pretty cool.
It's all about giving you those tools and those insights that you need
Yeah.
to succeed.
It's like a game changer.
But ultimately, it comes down to you, right?
Right.
Your passion, your expertise, and your perspective.
Yeah, it's the human element.
Exactly. That's what makes you stand out.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here from fish health to profitability.
We have.
I feel like I've gotten a crash course in aquaculture husbandry management.
Me too.
But before we wrap up,
Yeah.
I think it would be helpful to look at the different stages
Yes.
of an aquaculture husbandry manager's career path
Okay.
that are outlined in that RoleCatcher career guide,
Right.
just to give our listeners kind of a visual of their journey.
So let's start with the entry-level position, an aquaculture technician.
Okay.
At this stage, you're really gaining that practical experience. You're
Yeah.
learning the ropes. You're developing that solid foundation in the techniques.
Very hands-on.
Exactly.
Okay.
We're working directly with the fish, monitoring the water, helping with those daily operations.
Perfect. So what comes after that?
From there, you might move up to an aquaculture assistant. And this is where you start taking on more responsibility.
Okay.
You're more involved in managing that fish population,
Okay.
implementing those feeding strategies, ensuring that those biosecurity protocols we talked about are being followed.
So I imagine at this level, communication is even more important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're interacting more with your colleagues,
Yeah.
maybe even supervising a small team.
Right.
So clear communication is essential.
So you've been an assistant, you've honed your skills.
Yeah.
What's next?
Often the next step is an aquaculture supervisor.
Okay.
And here you're taking on that more significant leadership role.
Right.
You're responsible for overseeing a team of technicians and assistants.
Wow. Right.
You're motivating them to achieve production goals, making sure everything runs smoothly.
So now you're not just managing the fish,
Oh,
you're managing people,
exactly.
which comes with a whole new set of challenges.
Challenges and rewards.
Right. Okay. So we've gone from technician to assistant to supervisor.
Yes.
What are those top-tier positions?
Okay, so typically those top-tier positions would be an aquaculture manager
Okay.
or a senior aquaculture manager.
Got it.
And in these roles, you're responsible for the overall success of the operation.
That's a big responsibility.
You're involved in strategic planning, budgeting, marketing, ensuring compliance with all those regulations.
So it's that big picture thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You need to think strategically, analyze market trends, make those sound financial decisions.
Yeah.
It's the culmination of everything you've learned and done.
This whole career path has been so helpful.
I agree.
It gives you a really good idea of how to approach an interview.
Absolutely.
Okay, so before we wrap up,
Yeah.
what is one key takeaway
Okay.
you would want our listeners to remember?
I would say be authentic, be passionate, and be prepared to showcase what you bring to the table,
Okay.
your skills and your experiences.
Yeah.
The industry needs people who are passionate about what they do,
Yeah.
who are committed to sustainability and innovation.
Don't be afraid to show that enthusiasm.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what sets you apart.
I love that. Okay, so we've gone deep into the role.
Mm-hmm.
We analyzed those tricky interview questions,
Yes.
explored the career path.
We did.
I'm feeling very well equipped for an interview.
Me too.
But before we wrap up this whole deep dive,
Yeah.
I think it would be really valuable to touch on one more thing.
Okay.
And that is the power of RoleCatcher's AI
Right.
when it comes to actually like tailoring your application materials
Yes.
and practicing for the interview.
Absolutely.
So we've talked about how RoleCatcher can help tailor your answers,
Right.
but it goes beyond that.
It does.
Imagine this. You've got your CV, you've got your cover letter.
Yeah.
You're not sure if they're really highlighting the skills that this specific employer is looking for.
Right.
RoleCatcher's AI can analyze both the job description
Yes.
and your
Yeah,
documents
exactly.
and tell you where you can make them stronger.
It's like having this expert editor
Yeah.
going through your application.
Okay, so what about interview practice?
So that's where the interview practice feature comes in.
Okay.
You can record yourself answering those common questions,
Yeah.
and then the AI gives you feedback on your delivery,
Wow.
the content, even your body language.
It's like a mock interview,
It is.
but with this extra level of insight.
Exactly.
Okay, so RoleCatcher can help you refine your application practice. Your answers get feedback.
It's a game changer.
It is a game changer. I can see why so many people are turning to AI
Yeah,
for help with this whole process.
absolutely.
But let's not forget about that human element.
Right.
It's your passion,
Yeah.
your experience
Yeah.
that will ultimately make you stand out.
You're absolutely right. AI is a powerful tool.
Yeah.
But it's just a tool.
It's up to you to bring your authentic self to the interview.
Exactly. And show that you're enthusiastic.
Okay, so I think we've covered everything we set out to do today.
I think so.
We've demystified the role of an aquaculture husbandry manager,
Right.
analyzed those challenging interview questions,
Yeah.
explored that career path,
We did it all.
and even uncovered the power of AI for interview prep.
Yes.
I'm feeling incredibly inspired and prepared to dive into the world of aquaculture.
Me too.
But before we officially wrap up this deep dive,
Oh,
I
yeah.
have one final question for you.
All right. I'm ready.
What's one piece of advice you would give to someone who's just starting their journey in this field?
Be a sponge.
Be a sponge.
Absorb everything you can about aquaculture. Read books, attend conferences, talk to experts, get your hands dirty.
Okay.
The more you learn, the more passionate you become.
I love that.
And that passion will be evident in everything that you do.
I love that. Be a sponge, soak up all the knowledge, and let your passion fuel your success.
You got it.
Well, on that note, it's time to wrap up this episode of The Deep Dive.
Okay.
We hope you've enjoyed this journey into the world of aquaculture husbandry managers.
Yes.
And remember, if you're looking for a career that combines science sustainability and the opportunity to make a real difference,
Right.
aquaculture might just be the perfect fit for you. Until next time, happy diving.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
How aquaculture is so connected to these huge challenges we're facing, like
Right.
feeding everyone, keeping the environment healthy, even climate change.
It really is. It's not just about raising fish.
No.
It's about finding ways to feed more and more people
Right.
while we're also trying to protect our oceans.
And that's what makes this career so exciting.
Yeah.
You're part of something much bigger, you
So
know?
you're not just clocking in and clocking out. You're making a difference.
Yeah, and I think people see that in an interview,
Yeah.
if you really have that purpose.
Right. And speaking of interviews,
Yeah.
I wanted to go back to what we talked about with RoleCatcher's AI
Okay.
for those tough interview moments.
Absolutely.
You mentioned how it could help with the fish health question.
Right.
Like, what would that look like?
Well, let's say you're prepping for that question.
Okay.
RoleCatcher can actually look at industry data
Okay.
and figure out the biggest disease problems in your area.
So it's tailored to you.
Exactly. It's just not just some general advice.
That's incredible.
It's super relevant to the job.
And as you move up in your career,
Right.
the AI can even help show off those leadership skills.
Exactly.
And that strategic thinking that you need for those higher level roles.
It's like having a mentor
Right.
who's always keeping up with the industry.
And giving you insider tips.
That's so helpful when you're trying to stand out.
It's invaluable. And then there's the interview practice.
Yeah.
That seems so useful.
You can record your answers.
Yeah.
And get AI feedback on everything.
Wow.
How you sound, what you say, even your body language.
It's like a personalized coach
It is.
helping you refine your pitch.
It really boosts your confidence.
I can see that.
It's all about giving you the tools.
To succeed.
But in the end, it's your passion, your skills, your unique view that makes the difference.
It's the human touch.
Exactly.
AI can help, but you're the one who shines.
You're right.
And speaking of shining, we've talked a lot about the technical stuff,
Right.
but there's something else just as important.
What's that?
Being able to share your passion
Yes.
and your vision for this field.
Absolutely. Interviewers don't just want facts.
Right.
They want someone excited about aquaculture.
Who's really into it?
Who wants to make a difference?
Yeah. So when you're getting ready for this interview,
Yeah.
don't just focus on the technical stuff.
Think about what got you interested in this.
Right.
What are you passionate about?
Yeah.
How do you see yourself shaping the future of aquaculture?
I love that.
That's what will really get them hooked.
It's about bringing your whole self to the table.
Exactly. Let that passion shine.
Aquaculture is such a dynamic field.
It is.
There's so much happening.
So much to learn and grow.
So be curious and keep exploring.
Absolutely.
Well, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive.
Yeah, it's been a good one.
We've covered so much.
We have.
From fish health to using AI for interviews.
It's amazing how much we've learned.
I feel like I really understand this role now
Me too.
and all the exciting possibilities.
To everyone listening who's starting this journey,
Yes.
we wish you the best of luck.
Good luck.
May your waters be clear, your harvest big, and your passion for sustainable aquaculture keep growing.
And remember, if you're feeling lost with the interview process,
Yeah.
RoleCatcher is there to help
They are.
every step of the way.
With their AI and guidance, you'll be ready to make a splash.
Until next time, happy diving.